Turns out a lot of the things we call strength are actually just survival instincts in disguise. Emotional armor, performance mode, full-on poker face. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on the people who seem fine, but are actually carrying way more than they let on. Let's get right into it. Number 1. Olympic. Level emotional masking. Ever met someone who's basically the human equivalent of a thumbs up emoji? Always smiling. Always saying they're fine. Even when it's very clear that life is throwing bricks at them from all directions? Yeah, that's not positivity. That's survival. People who've been through serious emotional chaos, grief, trauma, abandonment, heartbreak, learn to mask like it's a competitive sport. It's not because they're fake. It's because they've learned that showing real feelings isn't always safe. In childhood, maybe crying got ignored. Maybe pain got mocked. Maybe being strong wasn't a choice. It was a requirement. So now, they smile. They laugh. They crush deadlines and hand out advice like a motivational podcast. Meanwhile, inside, a full-blown existential weather system. Psychologists call this surface presentation. It's like emotional makeup, put on enough, and no one asks what's underneath. Because asking, that means dealing, and dealing is exhausting. So if someone seems absurdly okay all the time, check on them. Not in a creepy way, just check. Because sometimes the happiest looking people are the ones carrying the heaviest invisible bags. Number 2. Apologizing for existing. You bump into them and they say sorry. They offer to pay for something you messed up. They apologize for talking too much after saying 3 words. Classic sign of someone who survived a world that made them feel like a burden. Over-apologizing isn't about manners. It's about preemptive damage control. It's the mental equivalent of bubble wrapping your personality. Somewhere along the way, they were trained explicitly or subtly to believe their needs were inconvenient, their presence optional, and their mistakes unforgivable. So now, they say sorry as a reflex. Not because they're wrong, but because they're scared of being wrong, or, worse, being rejected. Psychologically, it's a form of fawn response, part of the fight-flight-freeze-fawn trauma menu. You learn to keep peace by pleasing people, even if it means erasing yourself in the process. So the next time someone says sorry for absolutely nothing, maybe tell them they don't have to be. Then maybe say it again. Then maybe remind them with cake. Number 3. Being everyone's therapist and ignoring their own meltdowns. They give great advice. They listen like pros. They always know the right thing to say when you're spiraling. But ask them how they're doing, and they either deflect or crumble. Being the emotional support human is often a coping mechanism for people who've had to suppress their own feelings to survive. Maybe they grew up with emotionally unstable parents. Maybe they were the mature sibling. Maybe no one ever asked them, "How are you?" So now, they've become excellent at holding space for everyone but themselves. They're the first one you call when your life explodes. But when their own life feels like a slow-motion car crash, silence, isolation, more emotional labor. Why? Because they've internalized the idea that their job is to help, not to need. That being strong means being self-seven if it's killing them slowly. If you know someone like this, ask them a real question. Be their safe space. And maybe remind them, you don't have to be drowning to deserve a life jacket. Number 4. Perfectionism as self-worth. To you, they might seem like they have it all. Together flawless grades, tidy apartment, organized calendar, emotionally composed. But the truth? They're exhausted. Because underneath all that productivity is a brain screaming, if I'm not perfect, I'm worthless. Perfectionism isn't ambition. It's fear wearing a suit. For many people, especially those with childhood trauma or high-pressure environments, perfectionism is a form of control. When everything around them felt chaotic or unsafe, being perfect was the one thing they could control. But it's never enough. One mistake equals identity crisis. One failure equals full-body shame spiral. And rest feels like guilt. It's not about success. It's about survival. So the next time you see someone overachieving, overscheduling, and overanalyzing everything, maybe ask if they know they're allowed to just exist. Imperfectly, messily, humanly. If any of that hit a little too hard, don't worry. You're not the only one pretending to be fine in public. There's more weird psychology and quiet survival stuff coming in the next video, so if you're into that kind of emotionally unstable fun, hit that like button and subscribe. See you soon.